guys, and welcome back to the Moaning Yorkshireman, and welcome back to part number 2 of your questions and answers. That's right, the questions you have asked will be answered in this part. I've put everything down in the details below of when person's questions are answered, just so they're able to go to their specific one, and if they want to watch it all, of course they can. If you can't see your name on this one, that means you're in part 1. Well done, you lucky bugger, you're in part number 1. So go back and watch that video, and your link there, your name will be there to pop up, and you'll be able to see where your questions are and my answers to them. So we're going to kick things off with Martin Hall for the part 2. Thanks so much for your questions, buddy. He asks, what do you think of the rumoured return of the Caterham F1 team? It's a load of crap, I'm afraid. I don't buy into it at all. Apparently someone's got £160 million that they're able to invest in a Formula 1 team. Well, good luck with that, because the liquidation pot now that you have to contribute to is 400 million. So even if that's euros or dollars, it's still not £160 million, is it? That's like 300 million euros, $275 million or whatever. So yeah, it's not £160 million. Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, no one's got enough money. 160 million quid will not get you a Formula 1 racing team at the moment, and you're going to need even more massive investment to be able to even pay your waiver to get into the grid, let alone build a team, build a factory, start a Formula 1 team. Yeah, not going to happen. It's all rumours that have come from nowhere at all. His second question is, do you think the Toyota Speedworks team will ever do anything in the BTCC? They might win the odd race, but never do anything in the championship overall. Well, I was having this conversation actually with a couple of friends that like touring cars. And Toyota, in terms of the Speedworks, have really gone downhill since Tom Ingram left. James Dorlin has stepped down for the remainder of the season, and Josh Cook has come in now. Of course, Cook raced with One Motorsport. They've now departed and ready for next season or summer. I mean, they've always had money worries, haven't they? So, yeah, so he's replaced him. Josh Cook is a great asset. I think the trouble is with what they're doing is they always seem to have Aaron Taylor-Smith, which is a great, solid, all-round driver. Don't get me wrong. No disrespect to Aaron Taylor-Smith. He's done well in the championship. But he's never, ever come across as a title contender. Then they always tried to get an old, experienced hand. They had Rob off last season. They've had Gordon Shedden this season. But they've been out of the series so long that they don't understand the championship anymore. So they're just trying to figure out the touring cars again, let alone trying to march and develop a team. They're too old, unfortunately, and that's the sad truth. They're too old, they've been out of the sport too long, and aren't able to offer what Speedworks need from them to be able to deliver that car to go forward. So having someone like Josh Cook is a great asset, because I think Josh Cook has been so unlucky. He's just not been at the right team at the right time to be able to deliver a title. You know, he has always had some great wins. He's known as the King of Thruxton. He's always able to deliver some fantastic results in sometimes machinery that isn't good enough. And yeah, he really does deserve this shot. And I think if they're able to keep Josh Cook for next season, then you've got a chance of that team starting to go forward. They need someone with massive amounts of experience of touring cars from a variety of teams to be able to deliver them to go forward, because it always seems to be an old hand that's been really good in the championship but is inexperienced to the current BTCC regulations. You have a couple of rookies and you have Aaron Taylor-Smith, and that is not a combination winner when it comes to delivering a team that's capable of delivering. This is a manufacturer team, and they're just struggling, aren't they? So yeah, Josh Cook, I think, will deliver all he can do, and I hope he's able to be retained for next season. So yeah, that's my honest opinions on that. I think they're going to struggle. I hope they're able to mount a serious attack, but it's like anything. You need money. You need money in the championship, and money is not making the world go round at the moment for the Toyota team. Driver replacements, of course, midway through the season seems to be a common occurrence with the younger, inexperienced ones, and the old hands just aren't able to offer that level of expertise that they need. Josh Cook is a great asset. Keep him, Toyota. Leo Wilson asks a couple of questions. Would you disqualify Alonso and Hamilton on the 2007 Cruel Room after their incident at Hungary? Yeah, they would have both been gone. Definitely would have both been gone. I would have been relatively unhappy with all of them. I would have disqualified McLaren from the team's wall as well, because it was all a load of crap, wasn't it? What an absolute mess that year was. It really, really was. I could understand Alonso's frustration with it. I could understand Hamilton's frustration with it. Ron Dennis was just an absolute twat. And yeah, they would definitely have both been disqualified had I been doing a crawl room back in 2007. His second question is, did you notice that whenever Max Verstappen wins an of the week, you always seem to be giving him severe punishments, such as deducting points or even disqualifying him? I didn't notice that, to be honest, no, but I think sometimes when Max Verstappen makes a mistake, it's not just a mistake that's of the week worthy. It was the stupid losing his head last year at Hungary, where he was just, you know, driving into Hamilton and shouting down the radio and whinging and moaning, and like that deserves minus points. He deserved minus points for his of the week that he got at Spain this year, where he was like the deliberate contact he made with George Russell. So yeah, I am aware that I give him severe penalties, but I've never associated, oh, it's an of the week to Max Verstappen, I must give him a more severe penalty than that. It's just that when he gets an of the week, it's because he's been a right child and he deserves really knocking down a peg or two for it. But yeah, I've not noticed in terms of I have to do that. It's just that whenever I do award an of the week to Max Verstappen, it's because he has made a massive mistake and has really annoyed me. Great questions, Leo. Thank you for those. Saiye asked a couple of questions. Good to see you, Saiye. I hope you're doing well, bud. Who do you think had the best to worst Formula 1 career out of Vettel, Alonso, Raikkonen and Button? Well, Vettel definitely had the best, of course. Most championships, most titles. Then I would probably say Jenson Button, maybe? I would say Button. And I know that's going to sound really weird because, of course, we already mentioned about the difficult start he had. But he proved to be a great asset to so many teams. You know, after he found his feet, he'd had a couple of rough seasons with Benetton and Williams that turned into Renault, and like it was all a bit higgledy-piggledy. But once he found his feet, once he got that home at BAR Honda, he was a great asset to any team he was from then on, which was, of course, Honda until it became Brawn because Honda sold up, then, of course, McLaren until the end. So, yeah, it was a great asset. I think Button did well. Then I would go Raikkonen, and then I would have to put Alonso last in terms of best to worst, only for the fact that every time he made a driver, you know, a move to another team, it was the wrong call, unfortunately. And that's really sad. That's really sad. He should have had a couple more titles at least. He should have won 2010, but it was the Ferrari strategy that cost him there. Should have won 2012, but it was that bullshit safety car that they called that meant that Vettel caught up to the back of the pack again. And then I think, again, Ferrari got the strategy call wrong with the pitting of the inter tyres and wets and stuff in the changeable conditions. So, you know, should have had a couple more titles. I don't mean that he has the worst career ever, but it could have been so much more had he just waited at the team he was at and not moved because that team then did well, or whether he'd, you know, switched teams sooner or switched teams later. He never found the right team at the right time, did he? And that's a big disappointment. And I think even Alonso himself will look back at that and go, God, you know, there's a couple of titles that went missing while I was in the right team at the right time. But then there was a lot of things that went wrong because I switched teams when I maybe should have stayed, or I stayed and I should have switched. So, yeah, there's a couple of things there. But ultimately, that, you know, out of those four drivers, they've all had great careers. And I think they should all be really proud of what they achieved. What would be your racing dream team? So, we're talking drivers here, are we? So we'll talk Formula 1, I take it. So if I was able to get two drivers lined up in my car, say for example I was the new Cadillac team, I would be snapping up Perez. I would have got Perez off the sidelines, absolutely. I know people would say that's a cop-out, but you know, without a shadow of a doubt, Perez, I think, has done well. Don't get me wrong, he was absolutely diabolical in that Red Bull, but we saw what he was capable of doing in the Racing Point days, where that car wasn't capable of victories or podiums, and he bloody went and did it. You know, he could have had 4 or 5 podiums in a row in that 2020 season, couldn't he? Had it not been for the engine failure at Bahrain. So yeah, you know, I think Perez was the right call for Cadillac to make, and I would always have, if I was setting up a new team, an experienced driver, and I would definitely have gone for Perez. So I would have picked Perez. Bit of a cop-out, I know, but I would have gone for it. And then my second driver, I would have gone for a rookie, and I'd have gone Felipe Drugovich. I think he's long outstayed his welcome, been sat on the sidelines. He should have had his chance in Formula 1 now. There's been a couple of opportunities where you think, oh, maybe he could come in, because of course Lance Stroll's been injured, Lance Stroll's been unwell, etc. But it's never happened. It's never happened, unfortunately. They've just set the car aside and not put anyone in it, or Lance Stroll has come back. And I think he deserves a chance, so I would give him an opportunity. If I could pick it in terms of champions, and budget was unlimited, of course, I'd be getting Max Verstappen straight away. And the way that George Russell's had this season, I'd be getting him absolutely hands down. I'd be getting those two drivers immediately signed up. I'd get someone like Leclerc. I'd get someone like Albon as well, potentially. I'd try and waft him away from Williams because of the season he's been having. Yeah, there's a lot of good drivers at the minute. Even Bortoletto's had a good one. But yeah, if I was setting up a brand new team at a realistic budget, I'd be getting Perez and I'd be getting a rookie, someone like Felipe Drugovich. In terms of chief engineer or someone like that, I'd be getting the likes of... I'd try and convince Ross Brawn to come back to run a team because he did all right, didn't he? But yeah, for drivers, I'd have those two, Perez and Felipe Drugovich. Those would be my two choices for a realistic driver lineup. What's your favourite of your toy Formula 1 cars? They're not toys, they're models. The wheels don't spin round on half of them. That's how much of a model they are. They're actually like set to the certain dynamics and parameters and the correct setup and everything. My favourite has to be... well, I don't know if I have a favourite, actually. I mean, I'm always really happy that I've got the first ever one that I ever collected, which was Felipe Massa's 2005 show car, the Sauber that year, of course based on the 2004 car with 2005 colours, because that was the one that started it all. I'm really looking to have some nice special liveries. The Turkish Grand Prix livery for the Red Bull team in 2021, the white livery with the white on's really nice. There's some really nice liveries, to be fair, though, and there's some really nice teams. I enjoy all the Force India ones. Again, a massive Force India fan. I love my Force India models, I really do. They're always nice. Yeah, there's some nice ones. I like the Jordans, the 2001 bit and hissers on the side instead of Benson and Edges. I love those. They're great. Really good models. Yeah, there's too many to choose. I've not got a specific favourite. I'm just grateful that I've been lucky enough to collect so many over the years and build the collection up slowly, one by one, two by two, and then get in touch with a great guy that's able to supply the whole season for me. Now I don't even have to worry about it. I just know I've got a full grid turning up, and then any special edition ones is like, would you like it? I'm either like yes or no. One-off liveries, things like that. So yeah, I'm really lucky, and I love all of them equally, really. But the standouts are probably my Force Indias and the Turkish Red Bull livery one-offs for the Red Bull team. The next set of questions come from Scott Barnes. Hi Scott, hope you're doing well, buddy. His first question is, what do you think one rule is that F1 should stick to? In my opinion, F1 should always be free to air. I mean, free to air is a massive issue, isn't it? It really is. And it puts it behind a paywall. You get stupid highlights, especially at stupid o'clock in the morning when you've got a late race in the UK time. It's stupid o'clock in the morning race highlights on Channel 4. We only get the British Grand Prix for free. And I'm a big believer in that. Free to air is certainly something that I would stick to. So I agree with you on that, bud. The second question is, what era do you miss in general life? Sport, etc., anything in general. What era in life do I miss? I miss working at the airport, to be honest with you. I met some lifelong friends there. Every single day that you went in was a laugh a minute. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. So that would have been 2017, wow. 2017 to 2021, that era would have been. And like I say, met lifelong friends. Every day was a laugh. It was great. Absolutely loved working there. That was fantastic. In terms of sport, it would have to be the 2000s, because that was when I was old enough to really understand Formula 1, really understand touring cars, get really invested in them, start going to touring car race meetings and stuff. So the whole 2000s era for me was really special, because I was able to understand F1, I was able to get involved, I was able to start liking drivers, start liking teams, and I really enjoyed that era. So yeah, 2000s for me in terms of sport. What's your top 3 favourite tracks in the world, no matter what? He put Nürburgring, Daytona Oval, and Monaco. Well, my first one has to be Most in the Czech Republic. We used to race there every year when we were away racing, and we got the best results there. We ended up with a couple of podiums. We got a pole position there as well. And we did really well. It was also linked to a race weekend where there was trucks, there was Kia Picanto Cup. We got the garages because we were the main spectacle, being a single-seater championship, so we didn't have to put the bullshit awning up. There was loads of support packages on. It was a great atmosphere, a great vibe. really nice people, really friendly, and I absolutely loved going to Most in the Czech Republic every single year. So it was more the atmosphere to it, but the circuit provided great results for us as well as a team, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, that would be one of the circuits I would love to revisit, and is one of my favourites. The second favourite is Austria Red Bull Ring. Again, great for working there. Facilities are absolutely fantastic. They're amazing. The racing's always really good as well, to be fair. We always have some exciting races there. And yeah, like I said, the circuit is second to none in terms of facilities. Really clean, really tidy. There's a fantastic restaurant upstairs as well. And yeah, it's really, really good. Really nice. So I'd love to go there again. And I would also have to put the Nordschleife. I was lucky enough to go around that on a couple of occasions during my time in motorsport. Once in a Ford Focus and once in an Iveco Daily Unijet van. So yeah, we've had some good times around there. It's a really, really just iconic circuit, and I know it's having a lot of bad times at the moment, isn't it, with fatalities and serious injuries on these arrive and drive days, where people just aren't driving within their limits and, you know, just thinking they're the next Michael Schumacher and they're really not, and hurting themselves. So that's not good. But the Nordschleife is absolutely fantastic. It's an iconic circuit. I'm lucky to have been around it and have lots of great memories around that place as well, around the whole. There's a fantastic restaurant called the Piston Klaus just round the corner, which is unbelievable. It's filled with motorsport memorabilia, where you've got bumpers hanging from the ceilings, front wings. There's every motorsport sticker known to man stuck all over the walls. There's photos, there's signed things, there's bits of bodywork, there's everything. It's littered, literally littered with anything motorsport paraphernalia, from touring cars to tin tops and single seaters and DTM and everything. All walks of life in it, and it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, those are my three circuits that I really love for sentimental value, for sentimental reasons, and also because they've got great facilities. So yeah, great questions there, bud. Thank you so much. Next one comes from Terry Parcs. Hiya Terry, hope you're doing well. And he asks, what would you consider to be the best motorsport moment ever? Well, I think I'm going to be biased, and it's going to have to be Silverstone this year, isn't it? With Hulkenberg's podium. Long overdue, and it finally happened. It was so special. It was nice that it ended up falling on my day off as well. I'm so glad I was able to watch that race live, because had I had to watch that on highlights and find out the news beforehand, I wouldn't have had that same emotional attachment to it. I wouldn't have got emotional like I did, and it would have taken the edge off it. So I'm so pleased I was able to sit at home, watch it with my mum and dad, and just really embrace that. That was a fantastic moment, it really was. And I know it's recent, but that for me has been really special, and probably one of my most special motorsport moments of the decade. I really would. Really special. And then, second one, will you ever stop adding to your Formula 1 model collection? I think obviously at one point, and at some point I'm eventually going to get fed up of Formula 1, as daft as that sounds. There's been a couple of occasions over the seasons where I'm like, I really don't want to record the Cruel Room because that was bullshit, etc. You know, the penalties that they gave or didn't give, and the FIA intervening. So yeah, I think potentially one day, maybe one day, there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a point where I'm going to say, look, enough's enough. I need to stop collecting. I mean, I've already run out of space, so space is always an issue now for me, but at the moment it's not an issue in terms of it's not what's stopping me collecting. But there will come a point, you know, maybe I'll get serious one day, you know, sit down, settle down, buy a house, and then have all my money going on housing bills and things like that, and things that are really serious. But for now, I'm really enjoying spending my money on my models. Great questions, thank you very much. Vettel Hamilton again asks another question, and he says, by the way, Hoaxer said to me he's too busy to make a question, so I'll ask him for you. What is Lewis Hamilton's best F1 in his entire F1 career? The one that pops out straight for me is Turkey 2020, and he wrapped up the title that race as well, but what a stunning drive by him. It was a difficult start to the race, but he got his hammer down, and then he just delivered a fantastic result, and he was deserving of the victory that day. He really was. So that's the one that immediately springs to mind. It might not be everyone else's greatest, but that's the one that just pops straight into my head. Every time someone else mentions, you know, Hamilton in his greatest drive, his best drive, that one is always there for me. Turkey 2020. The way he won that title that year was very fitting, because I couldn't think of a better drive to win it. That was great, really good. So yeah, thank you for your question, Vettel. Based on, of course, Dave's question, but there you go. Thank you for that, bud. And I think Dave did have some questions later on as well, so he got a couple more in. But yeah, thanks for that one, bud. The next one's come from Warwick Bull and says, hi, hope I'm not too late. You're certainly not. What do you think of the Cadillac's confirmed driver lineup? I think one's great. I think Perez is a great solid asset to the team. He's able to deliver a lot of experience working with top teams and also delivering some fantastic results for midfield machinery. So he has got a lot of level of experience. Valtteri Bottas, washed up, passed it. Didn't deserve that 2024 season, let alone driving the entirety of the 2024 season. Then was outdriven by Zhou Guanyu, beaten by Zhou Guanyu, and didn't deserve to be back on the Formula 1 grid. And that's my honest opinion. So in terms of out of the 2 second drivers, who's going to be number 1 that time? Sergio Perez will finally be a number 1 driver because Bottas will be shite. And we can quote me on this. Someone paraphrase this, someone download this video afterwards, and you've got that as a reference. So when Bottas does really well and Perez does absolutely garbage, I can be wrong again, can't I? But I don't think I'm going to be. I really don't think I'm going to be. So yeah, that's my honest opinions. 1 great signing, 1 terrible one. Second question, what do you honestly think of Ferrari's recent success at Le Mans, with them winning every single one since coming back in 2023? I think it's great to see. And I think whatever they do over there needs to translate into the Formula 1 team. Get some of the staff from there to come and help out on the Formula 1 and be like, this is how you do strategy, this is how you do reliability, this is how you get drivers that are actually decent, this is how you do this is how you do that. Yeah. I think they need to just have a word with the Formula 1 department and go, come on, these can do it, come on guys. Yeah, it's great to see, it's lovely to see, but yeah, infuriating that Ferrari in Formula 1 can't get it together. And his third and final question is, how well is your RX-8 these days? It's great, thanks buddy. I was able to get him out at the start of this month, which is fantastic. He's been packed up in a garage for 10 months, of course, the winter weather and stuff. It's not a winter car, it's a summer car. I say that, I've got him out and all he's done is rain. But he's doing really well. I've drove him a few miles and he's driven fine, absolutely perfect. I'm going to give him a good wash tomorrow and get him cleaned today actually. It'll have already happened by the time this video goes out. But yeah, going to give him a good clean. He's going to a car show on Saturday, so there's probably going to be a video from that. So look forward to that. There's a video coming for that. But yeah, fantastic questions. Thanks Warwick for those. Next question comes from Greg Brown's World of Racing. He says, comments on quali. Lando versus Stroll, 14 to zip. So I take it that means Lando is in Fernando Alonso potentially. They are even on points, which is the better driver. Yeah, I think that we don't need to go there, do we? That's definitely Fernando Alonso. Thanks for fulfilling the wish of a dying man playing whack-a-mole / clown on a video at my request, and that was the first ever Q&A I did about 4 or 5 years ago, and I finally did it! Good things come to those who wait, don't they, Greg? They certainly do. And yeah, he put dying factors in the fact that we're all going to croak when it's our time. Absolutely, Greg, I know. But yeah, we got there, didn't we, bud? But yeah, great questions. Thank you for that, Greg. And yeah, I mean, come on. Out of Fernando Alonso or Lance Stroll, it has to be Fernando Alonso. Ewok Jr, the competition winner when I won my when I did my 1,000 subscriber draw, asks a couple of questions. Love to throw a couple of questions your way. My career in education starts soon, so I want to ask, what was your favourite teacher at school, and what is a funny standout memory of your days at school? So my favourite teacher at school was Mr. Lowry. He taught geography and leisure and tourism. I had him for the full 5 years I was in secondary school, so year 7 to year 11. He was always my teacher in geography, teacher in leisure and tourism. He led me to get my best result in GCSEs because I was with him, and I got an A and a B in leisure and tourism. It was a double course, and honestly, it just came with such ease because he was just such a fantastic explainer of things. He was so chilled out, he was so laid back, and it was just a nice laid back approach that was able to get on with your work. We had a laugh and a joke, we used to play music while we were doing his lessons. Everyone was always chatty, we never discussed things individually. If someone had a question in the class, we used to discuss it, you know, openly throughout the class. Like if someone was struggling with a certain question to an answer to a question I should say, or someone was struggling with a bit of coursework, they used to say, look sir, I don't really understand this. We used to answer it as a group, and he just didn't give the answer. He let the group answer, see whether someone else knew, because if other people were struggling but he didn't see, you know, obviously if someone didn't put their hand up say they were struggling, then he would have just told that one person individually, oh, this is how you get to the answer, or this is how I would look at it, or how about describing it this way, and the other person wouldn't get help, which I thought was really, really good. So yeah, when anyone ever had a question, it was answered in a group, because those that might have been too shy to ask a question got the answer without asking the question, if that made sense. So yeah, that was a really good one. Mr. Lowry was an absolute legend. Mr. Boardman was great as well. I'd like to add, Mr. Boardman taught history. He was fantastic. Had him for the first 2 years of my time in school, and then I didn't have him for my 3rd year, and then I didn't take history as a course, so I didn't get to see him again, unfortunately, but he was a great guy. Mr. Donkin in maths, I had him in year 7 for maths. Didn't have him for year 8 or 9, but then had him for year 10 and 11, and he was instrumental in me getting a C in maths, and I tried so hard because I struggled with maths, and I really, really tried. I really did. I did after school courses. I took up everything I possibly could, like extra, to really try and make sure I got a C in maths, and I did. And Mr. Donkin was really, really good with that. He helped me so much, and I'm thankful for it. So yeah, those are 3 great teachers: Mr. Boardman, Mr. Lowry, and Mr. Donkin. 3 that popped straight off the top of my head that really helped me during my time in school. There were loads of others as well. Mr. Stuart Collins, RE teacher, just a great laugh. Mr. Goddard, sadly no longer with us. He was fantastic. Again, he was RE. Mr. Murphy, he was RE. He was a great teacher. But yeah, so many. But those were the 3 that really helped me in my time in school. And yeah, I'm grateful for them. Second question, a hypothetical question. How would F1 history have changed, do you think, if Senna had survived his crash in '94? I think there'd have been one more title in it for Senna, for definite. Of course, we wouldn't have seen... I'm trying to think what we wouldn't have seen. You know, obviously... Damon Hill, of course, was then the leader of the Williams team briefly, wasn't he? They brought David Coulthard in, and it was, difficult. I don't really know how to answer that one, buddy, but I would have said that there would have been another title in it somewhere for Senna, possibly even the '94 season, perhaps, because it became close, didn't it? So yeah, definitely another title in it for Senna. In terms of what else, you really don't know, do you? Because you don't know where Senna would have gone next, when he would have retired, who that would have impacted on taking a seat from. It's hypothetical, as you say, and sadly we're never going to know, but I definitely think there was another title in it for Senna as an absolute minimum. The final set of questions, we have come to the end, come from David Hook. F1 Games PlayStation. Thank you so much for your questions, buddy. Great asset to the channel as well, of course. Couldn't have done the Cruel Room series without him, of course, with the Of the Weeks that you all know and love. Great, great guy. He asks 3 questions. He says, who is the best and most entertaining F1 YouTuber ever? Without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be me, hasn't it? It's got to be me. I am the best F1 YouTuber there's ever been, Dave. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. No, in all seriousness, though, in terms of entertaining F1 YouTubers, Josh Revell, he's probably the only big YouTuber that I like in terms of the F1 community. FP1 Will, he's quite funny. I quite like him. Rocket Powered Mohawk I used to like, and I thought he was quite funny, but then it got a little bit too far with some of his opinions on things. And I don't want to go there, but yeah. He hasn't uploaded for a few months either now, actually. I noticed that the other day. So maybe he's got into trouble for something. But yeah, he seemed to just take things too far. He got almost got a bit too big for his boots, I want to say. I know he always slagged the drivers off, but, you know, drivers are fucking multimillionaires. They don't give a shit. They're not watching none of this crap. But then when you start being derogatory towards certain races and sexualities and things, and it didn't come across as comedy. It come across as vulgar. So yeah, we're not going to go there. But yeah, I went off him massively. But FP1 Will's quite good. Josh Revell's good. And of course you, Dave. That's who you want to mention, don't you? Dave, F1 Games PlayStation, is the greatest ever Formula 1 YouTuber there's ever been. There you go. You can have that. Cut that down, Dave. You can have that on your little intro video when people click on your channel. Question 2 is, just got back into the BCCC. Is it me or is it really boring? It's been a struggle this year, I've got to be honest. It's been a 2-horse race between Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton, and we knew that from the start. Jake Hill, the reigning champion, has really struggled. And unfortunately, at the minute, we're in this scenario where teams and drivers are struggling for budget, so they're not able to have that door banging action that we used to see in touring cars. So what it's renowned for, I mean, we always have incidents and accidents, of course we do, those happen, that's part of motorsport in any walk of life, but there doesn't seem to be that roughy tufty level of driving that you normally see, and that's because at the minute everything's really expensive. Everyone's on a shoestring budget. Dan Lloyd has had a really bad season so far. I mean, the fact he's still going is a miracle, but he has had sponsorship pull out and needed to find 60 grand. He's then had an engine blow up, that's had to find him 24 grand. This is on top of what he's already had to pay to drive that season. So, yeah, you know, this is what's happened. We've had a lot of multiple driver changes, we've had teams pull out. We've had drivers drop, you know, we've even had like Unlimited Motorsport drop a car and things. So, yeah, very difficult this year, Dave, unfortunately. And the main thing is survival for the teams over the next couple of years, I think, because they've all been hit by this hybrid system that they've then ripped out. That's been costly. Cost the teams a lot of money for that hybrid system for it to only last 2 seasons, not really work. Then they've had to invest in this new turbo system that gives the turbos a boost. So, yeah, a difficult one. And I think it has had its good moments, but it's not been a pinnacle this season. So you just joined at slightly the wrong time. We need to cut some budgets in touring cars, make it a bit cheaper again. Question 3 from him is, do you think Caddy will do well next year or be the new Sauber? Without a shadow of doubt, I honestly believe that Cadillac next season will be the new Sauber of 2024 levels of incompetitiveness, struggle to score points, maybe have a good horde race here and there, but even then you're still looking at like a 12th to 14th place finish. I don't think they're going to be horrible though. I don't think we're going to be looking at like 2010 levels of bad when these massively underfunded teams come in on the premise there was going to be a budget cut that never happened. You know, we're not talking of a Formula 1 team that's going to be miles off the pace, struggling to get into the 107% rule of qualifying and, you know, be miles off the pace. That's not going to be the case at all. I think Cadillac are going to be at the back of the grid, unfortunately, for the most part. They might be able to pick off an odd difficult day for Haas, a difficult day for Alpine next year, depending on how well they get. But of course, I'm just basing it on how this season's going so far. But you know, if someone messes up qualifying, they might be able to qualify themselves 17th and 18th as opposed to dead last. But for the most part, we're going to see them have like a 2019 Williams kind of season, I would say, is where we're going to base them. They're not going to be miles away, but it's going to be enough that it's going to be like they are firmly on their own for a number of races. But then we might come to a certain circuit where you might just scrape into Q2, you might get ahead of a couple of cars. That's how I would base their season. The 2019 Williams season is upon Cadillac for 2026, and there's no harm in that at all. They'll be learning every race, and I think they'll have a couple of good results here and there. Even though those results might not be points, just beating other competitors will be a big achievement for them. So then guys, those were the answers to your questions. I hope you enjoyed them. That's everyone. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope I answered your questions as honestly and as truthfully as I can. And thank you so much for your love and continued support with the channel. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, thanks as always for all the questions you all ask. It never fails to amaze me how many people are interested in my walks of life, my opinions on things, and we get a very good mix every year, and I absolutely love it. So thank you so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you all again for a future video, which is most likely going to be a crawl room now. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, much love.